What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be going over a great wide receiver football IQ quiz to test your knowledge of the position. Now, if you're not familiar with our quiz style videos, fellas, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show like a pre-snap look, a coverage on this whiteboard, and then give you guys a chance to pause the video and answer a question that I'll ask you about this pre-snap look. So what we have here, this is an outside wide receiver on the left. We're going to be on the 5-yard line, and this is the end zone line. And the question is going to be, how would you run a slant route? So a 3-step slant versus a DB who is lined up inside shade press, and we are on the 5-yard line. So you guys can go ahead and pause the video and think about your answer. Now, before we get into the answer, fellas, if you are an athlete and you are looking to gain weight this off season, check out that very first link in the description below where you can get a great protein powder that will help you put on muscle mass. This is our AG Labs Salted Caramel Frappuccino Protein Powder. We also have a cookies and cream flavor, chocolate peanut butter brownie, cinnamon snickerdoodle, the works. It is some of the best tasting protein on the market to help you put on size and muscle mass this off season, like we said. This is a company called AG Labs. I started this company with my brother to make a line of supplements specifically for athletes. So if you guys use the promo code FIRST25, FIRST25 at checkout below at the very first link, you get 25% off your protein order. Now, the answer to this question, you guys, it's kind of in two parts. So initially what you would do with your release versus this look, you have to run a slant route versus inside shade press, is you do something called a diamond release. A diamond release is where you attack this DB's outside shoulder and outside hip for 3 hard steps, because it's a 3-step slant, and our goal is to get this DB to open up, and then we cut back underneath him, and you would probably use your hand to throw by and slip under. So if that's what you guys said, you would partially be correct. Now, the thing about this diamond release is for those 3 steps to the outside, we're trying to sell what route? We're trying to sell fade, but think about where we are at on the field. Me mentioning that we're on the 5-yard line and this is the end zone right here was important to the question, you guys, because if you just put your head down and run for 3 hard steps, that DB is not necessarily threatened by a deep fade in the red zone. What he's threatened by is more of like a goal line fade. So if you guys said you would attack his outside shoulder for 3 steps, but give maybe like a move called a peek back move, which is where you look over your inside shoulder to sell like you're getting a quick goal line fade, that's more likely to get that DB to open up his hips and run to the fade for us to get separation. So that's how you'd run that slant route versus inside shade press in the goal line situation. Now, the next question on our football IQ quiz for receivers, you guys, is how do you tell the difference between a DB who is playing off man or zone coverage? A lot of times a wide receiver will come to the line of scrimmage and they'll see a look where a DB is maybe about 7 to 8 yards away and he's outside leverage. But that doesn't necessarily guarantee that it's zone, doesn't necessarily guarantee that it's off man. There is something that we are looking for as a wide receiver to tell me if he's playing off man coverage or zone coverage. So what do you guys think that would be? So you guys can go ahead and pause the video and think about your answer. So the correct answer to this question, fellas, would be stance and eyes. So if you come up to the line of scrimmage and you have a DB and his eyes are to the inside looking at the quarterback and he has his front hip pointed at you and his chest is facing towards the inside of the field, and again, eyes at the QB, that tells you that it's zone. Could he disguise it? Yes. DBs love to show things pre-snap and then change it post-snap. Now, if you see pre-snap, the DB is facing us, his chest is towards us, and his eyes are on us, that tells you that it's more likely to be off-man coverage. So DBs love to disguise what they do, but pre-snap, if that's what you see, that's how you can tell the difference. Now, the next question on our wide receiver IQ quiz, fellas, is going to be if you're the X or the Z receiver over here, what would you do if you had a 4-verts concept versus a cover 3 defense? So remember, cover 3, we have a single high free safety, but obviously they call it cover 3 because we're taking away 3 deep zones of the field. Corner takes this third, free safety has this third, corner takes this third. The strong safety got flats, they're playing hook to curl on this side. But if you are the outside wide receiver, what are you going to do with your route versus a cover 3 defense? You guys go ahead and pause the video and think about your answer. Now, versus cover 3, you guys, a quarterback is generally taught to probably not work the outside routes simply because like the corners are way off and you're not going to be able to get behind them on your fade. So if you see cover 3, something that you can do to maybe help out your quarterback quarterback, especially if it's a situation where it's like maybe 3rd and 10, you have to get 10 yards, would be to just throttle down and stop yourself. So you could either run like almost a comeback, you could just stop, maybe you run a curl. It's kind of based on your offense and what your coaches want. But I would say if you see cover 3 pre-snap, DBs are outside leverage, eyes to the inside. Remember, we talked about that earlier in this video. Single high free safety, and you're running your fade and you're like, I'm not going to get behind this guy. Just throttle down. Just make sure you're on the same page as your quarterback, because you're better off running some route like this than just running a fade and completely taking yourself out of the play.